You're listening to the soon-to-be-named network, the Lamborghini of podcast networks. TM Sports. It's not a game.
Deep drop, Mahomes runs away to find space, fires on the run to Kelsey to the 30-yard line. A perfect play for Patrick Mahomes to set the Chiefs' record for most passing yards, passing the legendary Lenny Dawson.
3rd and 6 for Philadelphia. Hurts has time. Now locates Barkley out of the backfield. Barkley slips 2 tackles and picks up the first down, jumping up in the air to the 30. A gain of 14 for Barkley.
Out of moves right here. Makes the first guy miss. The spin move at the last second. Bro. And then, what, Tiki? You're right. Bro. What is that?
Bro. Comes down to one last play, and it's going to be getting longer by the second. You're all the way back at the 30-yard line. Now you can step into it. Here comes the Hail Mary with the game on the line, and the ball is caught! Caught! It's a miracle! It's Noah Brown! Oh my goodness! This town is going crazy! It's a madhouse in Landover, Maryland! He did it! Oh, this one will be paid back over and over again for decades.
18 weeks of football down, 4 more to go, and it's time for the Yoffs. Welcome to TNM Sports NFL Playoffs Preview. I'm Tim, joined as always alongside me, my good close personal friend, the sweet ebony diamond himself, Marcus. Marcus, how are you?
I'm doing great. My Kansas City Chiefs are well rested. They are primed for an unprecedented three-peat. The most dangerous team, the team to beat, missed the playoffs again. The Cincinnati Bengals. The Ravens got to play a division game. Buffalo's got to play a team that's better coached. I don't know. Things might be looking right for Kansas City, so I'm in a good mood.
Well, let's hope you can avoid the lawsuits that are being levied against Chiefs Kingdom from the good people of change.org trying to cape for Bottle Blonde Burrow. But either way, it's not just you and I. There's always a third man in the fire. If we're Shadrach and Meshach, this guy's Abednego. He is one half of We Need Wrestling. He's 1/5 of the Wings on Wings crew. He is the lifestyle. Brett, how are you, my man?
I'm good. Does this make me officially the ampersand and the T and M?
Yeah, we can easily. Hey, a B and an ampersand look kind of the same.
Close enough, right?
Hey, if only I knew a graphic designer that could make a ampersand look like a B.
Well, you don't invite him to do podcasting with you, so that's a road you have to travel down there, Tim.
All right. Well, when I do the Terry Funk draft, I'll be sure to not invite him.
Oh no!
No, I'm kidding.
No.
It would be him by himself doing 3 separate drafts at the same time.
He wouldn't allow you to put that out. He said, "Nope, not what's happening." I'm good, man. Philadelphia Eagles, baby, we're in it. We got a shot. I'm happy. We're here. Come through the link. Come see your boy. More on that later, though. How are you? How are you, Tim?
I'm good, man. Life is life. There's still a bunch of snow on the ground, and I hate it. I love it, but I hate it. Just go away.
I hate it.
Like, be enough snow that I can't do anything. But now that I work from home, it's no big deal.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
School's ruined. But enough of the small talk. We have a lot to get into, cram 4 weeks of football into a snackable, say, 2-hour time frame, maybe, give or take, más o menos. But on this episode, we're going to run the gauntlet, so to speak, going through the wildcard round and how that'll play into the divisionals, who will stand tall in the conference round, and then which two titans of the gridiron will clash with the lights on the brightest at Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. We're talking lines, we're talking futures, and we're talking so much more. But first, everybody loves a good blind ranking. So, boys, let's talk the head coaching carousel. So far, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 head coaching positions in the National Football League open. So we're going to go through them all, and you're going to rank them 1 to 6 on which job you think is the most attractive coaching job. Do you guys think you can handle this?
Let's give it a try. Let's do this.
Give it a whirl.
Fair enough. We will start with the bottom feeders of the NFC North, the only team in the division to accumulate less than 11 wins, and that is the Chicago Bears. 5-12 this year. Matt Eberflus is out. And they've got the 10th pick in this year's draft. Also an offensive coordinator position open. So how attractive, how sexy do Seth Rollins' Chicago Bears look to you guys?
Marcus, go ahead.
For me, this is the number one vacancy because you have the hardest position already filled, which is quarterback. When the offense was simplified in the later half of the season, Caleb looked really good. Lost the wheels a little bit the last game of the season, the second to last game, that ugly Thursday night game against Seattle. He was still playing for something. So you've got a good defense. You've got your quarterback figured out. You've got cap space to work with. You've got a top 10 pick to work with. I like the Chicago job. And you also know the road that's in front of you. You know you're entering the fire. So you've got to take your shot. Because that division does not look like it's letting up anytime soon.
No, and for that reason, I'm gonna go number 2 for Chicago. And again, main reason, like you said, that division is tough as nails. Caleb showed flashes this year for sure. I mean, he will be the guy there. You got to get an offensive-minded coach, though. Like, you have to. The dream scenario is you probably Ben Johnson away from Detroit. This talk I saw of like Pete Carroll going there, that does nothing for me. I'll go number 2 for Chicago.
Yeah, just from all reports, there have been 12 names of requested interviewees for that position, from Pete Carroll, Brian Flores, the Minnesota DC, the Lions offensive and defensive coordinator. I know we talked about Ben Johnson, but Aaron Glenn, that's a name that's going around all the coaching opportunities right now. Even Dallas's Mike McCarthy was asked. I know that Dallas had previously said they've since said, nah, can't talk to him. The name that I saw that was on the list that had me interested was Mike Vrabel, but I think he might be better suited for the next team we're going to talk about. Number 2 on the list, the New England Patriots. Last in the AFC East with a 4-13 record. Unfortunately, the Gerard Mayo era of the Patriots is come and gone. Short leash for him. I wonder why. But they'll have the 4th pick in this year's draft. Brett, we'll start with you. Is it a black and white issue for you as to where the Patriots sit, or is there shades of gray?
No, it's a pretty easy black and white issue. didn't give the man a chance. I'll say that. Yeah, I think it's probably a shoe-in for Vrabel to be the coach there. I know they have a ton of cap space. They have a high pick. For me, this is actually my number one position, I think. You already have a guy, Drake May, where I think like he's just going to be a stud. Obviously, you need to build a roster around him. The rest of the division outside of Buffalo is definitely taking a back step. So you can get Vrabel in there, build your damn Patriot culture again, or whatever the hell you want to call it. I just look at the cap space as being like such an attractive thing. So I'll go number one for New England.
$133.5 million in cap space, which makes you wonder. No wonder they went 4-13.
Yeah.
They have all of this money somewhere. But Marcus, who, if this were you, would you be going the Patriots way for this head coaching position?
It's definitely appealing for all the reasons that Brett talked about. Also talking about the division, if you're looking at a 2 to 3 year outlook, like there's blood in the water in that division. You've got Buffalo, who's not going anywhere as long as they've got Josh Allen. But you can definitely get enough wins to sneak into the wild card. I mean, we saw like a really bad Dolphins team almost still be alive the last week of the season, just with 8 wins. So if you can beat up on the division and utilize that cap space and continue to improve upon Drake May, I think that makes this job number 3 for me.
All right. Next up on our list might be for me at least, maybe the sneaky goodest coaching opportunity here. Goodbye, Doug Peterson from the Jacksonville Jaguars, a 4-13 record, 3rd in the AFC South. But $43.5 million in cap space for them. Looks like they are slated. I have these numbers wrong, but Jacksonville does have an early pick in the draft this year. Marcus, where does Jacksonville sit for you?
I'm going to give this a number 2, my lord.
There we go.
A very easy division. I think you've got a good quarterback. Now, with every season that goes by, seems to be less and less proof of that. Somebody's got to be able to keep Trevor healthy, build a team around him, build a winner. Can you win 9 games? Can you be the first to 9 wins in that division? It's going to get you in the playoffs. It's going to get you a home game. There's so much incompetence that has been through those doors. Can you just be competent? Can you be close to league average? Can you be decent? That's going to probably win you this division. Because Houston, I think everybody was a little high in the supply. And it seems like they've got some more issues to work out than just putting together a cool Madden team. So I think the division is back open. Not that anybody's going to run away with it, but I mean, it is a division. If you can still float around 500, you're going to be there come week 16, 17, 18 to win it and get into the playoffs and get a home game. So I'll take number 2 for this position.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not far off. This is actually my number 3. Again, same reasons you said. Trevor Lawrence, like you paid him all this money and you can't protect the guy. You got to invest. I mean, they've had so many high draft picks that you feel, okay, inevitably this has to turn around, right? And it just hasn't. I think Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be a stud, but Yeah, the division is very up in the air, especially because the Titans suck. The Colts, I don't know what the hell's going on with them. They're kind of a mess. This will be my number 3. I'm curious to see who's going to go to Duval. Who's all elite next? I think you still got to go offensive minded coach down there. You know, some of the names listed here. I could see a Joe Brady down there. That's number 3 for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely super sexy. And another team, I mean, the fourth team in that fire, the Houston Texans, while they are a playoff team, and we'll talk about them in a little later, they definitely came back down to earth. And if that division were tougher, they may have had a harder road to get. And definitely the betting lines agree, at least in the wild card round, for that matchup as well. But we'll talk about opportunities a little later. Next up on our list, with $112.5 million in cap space, plus a swanky new residence in Las Vegas, the Antonio Pierceless Las Vegas Raiders are next. Brett, why did having players name their own head coach be a problem?
Yeah, I talked about this earlier with somebody, and it was just like, he got the players behind him, and then the players just gave up. It's just you went into this season with Gardner Minshew as your quarterback. You deserve what you get. I'm
Uncle
sorry.
Rico, baby.
Yeah. Sadly, and I almost feel like I'm going in order here, but I promise you I'm not. This is my number 4. Just because of the cap space. They could do a lot. They know they have a high pick. The cap space is there. My God, though, do you need an offensive line? You need some sort of quarterback. You look at that team, and I don't know any talent on the offensive side of the ball that jumps off the page to me. Brock Bowers, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like he's like a circumstance just of checkdowns. That's, there's no wide receiver talent. The running backs stink. I mean, the quarterbacks stink. The offensive line stinks. You're in a division where, your arms are just too short to box with God. And then, you got Denver, who was just, hey, everybody, we're here. But there's other openings that are worse. So by default, I'll put this as my number 4.
And of course, with the Raiders having the 6th pick in the draft, there's a lot of conversation regarding Shedeur Sanders possibly dropping to 6 and being an answer for them. And of course, if Shedeur comes to Vegas, I don't know how connected Prime is to Colorado still. Maybe it's prime time in Las Vegas. But Marcus, how do you feel about one of the Chiefs' 31 rivals?
We don't have 31 rivals. They might consider us a rival, but I mean, I just, you got to do something. I mean, this calendar year, we almost had more wins in their building than they did. We had 2. We beat them at home and we won the Super Bowl there. And all 3 of their wins came at home. How about those Mahomes rules? What happened to those?
How about them?
What happened to the blueprint? I think somebody called it the recipe. Little Kermit voice. Everybody thought it was all fun and jokes. It's all fun and jokes now. People out of jobs. People are going to get cut. There's going to be a lot of roster turnover. Hope everybody had a good time. Other than like Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers, restart. So I think because you have the chance to restart and you probably have a little bit longer leash to build a winner, because you look around that division, obviously Kansas City's champs, forever champs. The Chargers, they look to be a forever wild card lock. And then you got Denver, who now look to be another, wild card lock. They're going to be fighting for that spot. So you've got 3 playoff teams. You have to do something bold. So yeah, if it's Coach Prime, it's Coach Prime. You got to do something. You can't go conservative here. So I don't know exactly who that is, who they bring in the doors, but you got to start taking some big swings if you're the Raiders, and maybe don't let your players dictate what those swings are. They do have Tom Brady, who is a minority owner now, but we'll see how big his influence is. I'm going to give this a 4, though, because as bad as this job is, it could always get worse.
It can and it might.
Let me pose a question to you real quick.
Go for it.
There is a new head coach for the University of North Carolina who has a $10 million buyout before June 1st.
Yep.
Would you gauge the interest and see if Belichick wants to coach the Raiders?
Well, according to NFL.com, multiple teams have inquired about Belichick, including the Raiders.
You got the Brady connection there.
Yes, they said the new minority owner, Tom Brady, spoke recently with the old coach to make a reunion happen. Brady, it says, but Brady's been in touch with Belichick recently as the Raiders weighed on the future. It definitely looks to be that looks cute. I don't know if that's the thing is I don't know if Mr. Davis in Las Vegas is gonna be willing enough to let Bill be Bill.
I don't know. Just an interesting question.
Yeah, you're just a guy asking questions.
That's all.
Just a guy asking questions.
There is a greater than 0% chance.
Correct. Yeah.
And I know Bill seems to be an expert at recruiting, but I think you could do a little something with that cap space. I'm kind of interested in the dynamic of Bill reporting to Tom and Tom having the mindset of, yes, your defense needs to be solid. So you get the most solid defensive coach probably still out there in Bill Belichick. But you have to have a modern offense, which is where the wheels fall off for Bill Belichick. And as a Chiefs fan, I don't want them to make that move. I would not like that.
Wouldn't.
If Brady was not in house, if Brady was not in house, I probably wouldn't feel as bad. But like Brady being an owner kind of changes a lot there. It's one less incompetent team to worry about, I think, moving forward. So we'll see what they do. I'm hoping they make a safe hire, but
yeah.
They got a lot of other positions on that on the coaching side of the ball to answer to. I mean, they need a new OC, they need a new quarterbacks coach, offensive line coach, all like pretty much that whole offensive side of the ball. Fair game, open for bids. So it's curious to see what the Raiders are gonna do. Marcus, you talked about it earlier about how there can always be worse open positions. And you can't get worse than negative $63 million in salary cap. Coming from the team whose starting quarterback has come out and said, no, I'm not taking a price cut. It is the New Orleans Saints. Dennis Allen out the door with a 5-12 record this year, and 4th in the NFC South, 9th in the draft this year. Marcus, why is the Saints job the worst job available?
So I actually have it at 5.
Oh,
it's in rough shape, but you are inheriting something that needs to bottom out. They tried to power through the Breeze era. Look, you got Drew Brees. As long as he's going to play football, you go for it. Even though you know you're not going to win, you go for it. You owe the fans that. You owe him that. You owe the team that. They should have stripped it down nuts and bolts after that, but they didn't. They decided to double down. Derek Carr, signed some other veterans, rearranged some money, still thinking that they can compete. They have not competed since then. And one season of taking your medicine, having a bad team, cutting a lot of bad contracts, playing some veterans that are getting some big money that can't be cut. You need one season where you take your cap relief medicine, and it could be fixed, but they keep kicking the can down the road. Somebody needs to come in there and say, hey, we need a year to take our medicine, and then we need a year to see what we got with new draft picks and go from there. This thing could be turned around in 2 seasons. Will it? Probably not. They continue to go for it, even though they have nothing to go for. But I think if you can get in there and you can take your cap medicine, you convince ownership of that. Again, you're in a winnable division. I know the Bucs have dominated the division, but they're doing so with 10 wins. It's still coming down to the last week of the season. So if you can get a competent team, you can be in there. Again, a valuable home playoff game can be yours. So with 10 wins. So it's number 5 for me.
So for me, it is number 6. I look at the division and I feel like everybody got better while they're getting worse and they're in absolute salary cap hell. Remember when they started out 2-0, they're putting up like 40 points a game and, let's see them in the Super Bowl. And then they ran to the Eagles and the Eagles punched them in the mouth. They're stuck, man. They are stuck and they need to cut a lot of these contracts. Is there some talented people on, like players on the team? Sure, absolutely. Alvin Kamara, like an ageless wonder at this point. He's still fantastic. Yeah. You have some talent at wide receiver, but yeah, I just, like you said, Tampa Bay is kind of running shit right now. Carolina got better. Atlanta got better. I mean, Atlanta's a 1 win away from making the playoffs. I don't see any hope in New Orleans right now. So I don't think it's a very attractive job, mainly because of that salary cap. That's just such an issue. That'll put me at 6.
Yeah, I'm taking a look right now. The 6th highest paid player on the New Orleans Saints roster is Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
Not great.
Not
great at all. But according to Marcus, at least, the least great of all of the head coaching vacancies right now, and Brett, you'll talk first, is the Jets, 28 million in cap space, 3rd in the AFC East. Robert Saleh getting the boot early, and looking like they're going to try to fill now for the new season, including a new general manager as well. But Brett, you've got this as the 5th best coaching option. You don't want to take a ride on Aaron Rodgers?
Get him out of there as fast as you can. That dude became such a cancer, I think. I'm not a Robert Saleh guy, but did he get Robert Saleh fired? Yes, he did. No matter how much he says he didn't, he did. That guy is just like, I don't know. He's such a problem at this point. He's going to be 42 next year. We ain't Tom Brady. I'm sorry. We're just not. Are there weapons around there? Sure, Garrett Wilson, but Garrett Wilson, there's been the talks where he's like, if Rodgers is here, I'm out. I'm not dealing with this, and why would you want to leave Garrett Wilson? Yeah, again, factors in with them is the division. It's just Buffalo at this point. Miami backstepped. New England, it's going to be tough for them for a bit. There was the talks of, New York, they're just a quarterback away. That's all they need. Well, you got your quarterback and you did nothing. Oh, let's add another wide receiver, Devontae Adams. That's it. We're going to do it. No, you didn't. You did nothing. Sauce Gardner took a back step this year. I don't know what happened with him. He just looked like a shell of himself. I don't know if he was hurt. I don't know. I had high hopes for him this year, but he just wasn't good. But because I think New Orleans is just like absolute misery, that's why I'm going to put New York as number 5.
This is dead last for me. Mostly because of the ownership situation. And I think as long as Woody Johnson is there, it is a failing head coaching gig. They need to recommit, go back to starting a young quarterback, draft a young quarterback. Do I have faith in the personnel that's going to be there to do that? Nope. They have displayed zero skill at doing that so far. Is there going to be another veteran out there that you can talk into? Maybe. Is it Kirk Cousins? Are you going to be in any better of a spot next year? No. So I don't know what they're going to do there. What I do know is they very foolishly this year, I thought, decided that we have to go for it. We're all in this season. And they're making these Madden transactions with Tyron Smith and Aaron Rodgers and signing up for the Aaron Rodgers experience and the Friends of Rodgers. And you didn't have to do this. You had a young team that was trending in the right direction, young studs, offense, defense, special teams, and you said, no, actually, we're going to press doomsday, and we have to go for it right now and get Aaron Rodgers in here, who does not like working with young players. Everybody knew that. Shock. Yeah. And then you wasted draft capital on a rental in Devontae Adams. Garrett Wilson still got his, but could he have gotten more production? Could you have gotten more production out of him while he's still on his rookie deal? Yeah, you could have. Got Alan Lazard at one point, was leading the teams in receptions and touchdowns, well into the season. That's not good. I don't even know where you start, what you do. I just don't think there's any winning to be done here. So dead last for me.
That is very, very fair. I'm actually very curious. I wonder if I can see some team stats for the Jets this year. See what the website has pulling up. I have yards, but I don't have. Here we go. Receptions. So Garrett Wilson led the team with receptions. Here's the telling number. Devontae Adams came into the team at week what?
7?
He is the second highest receiver with receptions at 67. You got...
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, at some point, you have to throw the ball somewhere else. And you don't want to throw it to literally anyone else. That's a you problem.
Aaron Rodgers couldn't get it.
Yeah.
He's too slow. The arm's not strong enough. The reaction time's not there. He couldn't get it. And then he can't take accountability to realize, hand up, that's on me.
Yep.
He's got to blame everybody else, whether it's the coach, the GM, his offensive coordinator buddy getting axed.
Yep. He got Mike Williams cut.
Mike Williams, you're running out of people to blame.
Yep. Blames everybody but himself. Can't win with that. Can't have it.
Can't win with him.
Can't win with him. Can't coach with him. Can't play with them. Can't do it. Yeah, I'm right there with you guys, unfortunately. But that's a good blind rankings, boys. Well, pseudo blind. You knew the teams, you didn't know the order of the teams, but either way, good conversation points. However, now we get into the meat of everything. This was a nice little appetizer, bread for the table, pancakes for the table, if you will. But now it is a wild card discussion. You sound like you're about to have something to say about pancakes for the table.
No, I was gonna say crab cakes for the table, but that's a Howard Stern joke, and
There
I don't know if Joe listens to the sports show, so Joe would be the only one to get it.
He does
Crab cake
listen
for the table.
He has known to dabble in conversations.
Joe's a secret sports guy.
Yeah, secret sports, fake sports guy.
He's a fake sportsman. Dominic Barber.
Baba Booey.
What a wonderful human being. Dominic for the table. Enough of me. I'll get stuck in that voice the rest of this show.
I know. I'm trying to move you through. Wild card round of the Yoffs. 6 games set. First game starting January 11th. It's a nice little Saturday, Sunday, Monday ticket. And the AFC is leading off with the first 3 games. Live in Houston, Texas. The divisional winning Houston Texans take on the LA Chargers. 4:30 kickoff. You can catch it on CBS and Paramount Plus. And it looks like FanDuel and DraftKings are in alignment. Houston is plus 2.5 at home for this game. And I know the Chargers have been the sexy pick with Harbaugh at the helm and Herbert under center. But it is a little weird that the home team's getting some plus points. Money line right now plus 130, 160 to Houston. However you line it up with an over under of 42.5. I'm sure that line might move between now and then, but it is early. For full disclosure, we are recording this on a Wednesday. Some people have Thursday night engagements. Some people have families. We're getting this in when we can and getting it ready to go. But Marcus, you're the AFC expert here. Who's coming out on top between the Chargers and the Tejans?
I'm going to place a little live bet right now, and I'm going to take, I will gladly put a unit down on Chargers minus 2.5. Just from what I've seen from this Texans team, they feel like a team that's limping into the playoffs, and it's been this way since like the beginning of the season. CJ Stroud, just whether you call it sophomore slump, maybe this is regression to the means. Maybe he outplayed himself, outperformed himself that first season. Their offensive line was even worse this season than it was last season, and last season it was bad. They of course, they got injuries at this point in the season. Everybody's got injuries. I don't want to hear about it. Give me the Chargers, man. They're playing good football. They've got an identity. Harbaugh has them boys riled up. Pains me, but give me the Chargers.
Fair enough, Brett.
So a couple things before I jump into this. Number one, congratulations, boys. All our teams made the Yoffs. This is a Yoff show, baby. Let's go Yoffs.
Never doubt.
Tim, you lost the faith earlier this year, and I said, don't lose faith in the Yoffs, brother.
Look,
we're back. We'll talk more about it when we get to that game. But
just because I didn't want it, just because I didn't want it,
crew, okay?
Right. Just because I didn't want it doesn't mean I don't like that I have it.
That's right. And number two, nothing feels like more at home than a wild card weekend Saturday 4:30 Texans home game. This is like it feels good to me. That and like a Texans Jaguars Thursday night game always feels right for some reason. With this though, I did play some wagers already. I took the Chargers with the points. I think the Texans struggled in the second half of the season. Marcus, like you kind of said, they just were limping through it. I felt Tank Dell going down, that was a big loss. But yeah, Chargers are humming right now. I think unless the Texans offense wakes up, which I don't think it will, I'm going Chargers here.
My vote does not matter, but I'm also going Chargers too. There is some Harbaugh magic across the board. This guy, the head coach, he can win wherever he is. Maybe not the Super Bowl, but he is successful, and he's got a really good young stud quarterback. And between the two of those, sky's the limit. And if this is what you get in year one, maybe it's not so bad, right? But we shall see how the Chargers go through the offs. If they do actually make it past the Texans, let's see how the rest of the AFC wildcard round plays out. As game 2, the Vansky special, or the Adam Van special, so to speak, the Baltimore Ravens playing the host to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Marcus, you're covering your mouth. I'm not sure why exactly. Maybe are you thumpering here? If you have nothing nice to say, you're not going to say anything at all. But we're going to start with Brett. 8 p.m. game on Prime Video. Can't even make television. Pittsburgh is plus 9.5 right now, with plus 440 on the money line and an over-under of 43.5. Brett, where are you going?
I'm going Baltimore. Pittsburgh stumbled into the playoffs again. Would they lose? I think 4 of their last 5 or something like that. I mean, their offense looks like they just have no life. I think they're just going to go into Baltimore, and Baltimore's going to play Baltimore football again. So I know division game, throw the records out the window, whatever. I think there is a potential for a blowout here. Now, Zay Flowers' health is we'll see if he's playing. I don't know the most recent update. I think it was questionable for his leg. But I still think it's going to be too much for Pittsburgh to overcome. Baltimore's defense is playing like Baltimore's defense normally does again. They righted the ship. Earlier in the year they were getting torched. They're not getting torched anymore. I took Ravens. I think it was, what was the line? -9.5.
-9.5 still.
I took them to cover. I just think it's Pittsburgh right now. They just look lifeless. I mean, there's no pop there. There's nothing. They're playing the good teams, and the good teams are just beating up. I mean, I don't see it, and that's why I'm going Baltimore. Lamar's not turning the ball over. Lamar is playing at an MVP level. We're gonna go with Baltimore here.
Before Marcus goes, I am taking a look at the injury reports right now. Zay Flowers was a DNP Tuesday and Wednesday. However, safety Kyle Hamilton is full practice. Justice Hill, full practice as well. So that's good. Now, another thing that you didn't have, but another wide receiver on that team, Deontay Hardy, full practice Tuesday, but did not practice Wednesday. So unsure if it's a rest day or anything, but I don't know if Lamar Jackson's worried about weapons per se against Pittsburgh. But Marcus, the Steelers have their work cut out for them. Boswell looks to be out. Cameron Hayward looks to be out. McCole Pruitt looks to be out. And just a whole slew of injuries on their side, but not an excuse. They're in the offs. Everybody's dangerous. Mike Tomlin, the king of getting into the playoffs. He's long gone past the days of I've inherited Bill Cowher's team. But I don't know if there's any more magic in that salt and pepper beer to his. How bad's the Ravens going to put the boots to him?
I will also join Brett, and I will take the Ravens to cover, which is a heck of a number to cover. But the Ravens kind of have shown a few times this season the ability to cover these large spreads by just Derrick Henry breaking 2 runs in the fourth quarter that just completely blow the game out of the water. So it's kind of what I expect here. Mark Andrews has looked a lot better. Coming off a bad PCL injury. Those take a long time. We're learning more about those. Bateman they're utilizing him more. I don't think he's a concern, but like he's a average receiver that Lamar can get the most out of. They keep talking pretty publicly like the plan is to feed Derrick Henry. I'm curious what they do, because if there's a team to take advantage of, it's the Steelers when it comes to the pass game. Brett, your Eagles did so and kind of righted the ship that they had set off course themselves and got right. So I have weird feelings about the Ravens. I don't know what to make of them. I think it's weird to, on one hand, say Lamar is a perennial MVP. He's a 2-time MVP, and he could win it again this season, although he won't. But he's going to finish runner-up, and he's so amazing. But as soon as the games have some stakes, it's don't let Lamar throw the ball more than 15 times. You got to run. Why would you do anything but run the football? I have a hard time having those two, I guess, truths or theories like exist together. So whatever they decide to do, they're going to cover. And I think they're going to look awesome. And I wouldn't be surprised if they climb up the Super Bowl favorite odds because like they did last year, I think they're going to put it on the Steelers like they did the Texans last year and look great coming out of this first round.
You're jumping a little ahead of where we're at, but right now between where you're betting from, actually both FanDuel and DraftKings right now have Baltimore as the third best odds, not just to make it out of the AFC, but to win the Super Bowl at plus 550. The only thing I'll say about it is this. Divisional matchup between these two. And I don't know if I'm comfortable betting the line, or not the line, betting the spread. Because, again, when it's teams that are similar to each other, I'm more comfortable picking heads up, straight up on that. I feel like it's safer, but safe money don't make money. I get it. But I'm also a parlay king, so I'm going to go with as many easy options as possible. So I'm with you, Baltimore up at home. Game 3 of the AFC. Game 3 of the AFC.
If you want a little parlay, real quick, you could do Derrick Henry anytime touchdown with money line Ravens for minus 155 on FanDuel. Which you're still drinking some juice, but
a lot of juice, but it's all right.
Well, I was gonna. What I'm doing is my annual listen to Brett and Marcus talk the playoffs and do a parlay based on what you say in this recording. So right now, my parlay is Chargers with the points, and I'm taking Ravens straight up on the money line.
Okay.
For that. And then we're going right into what I'm going to bet next. It is the Bo Nix era of the Denver Broncos heading into nice and chilly Buffalo as Mr. Haley Seinfeld himself Josh Allen. Look to help him with his MVP season talks. Marcus, I know you love Buffalo with all your heart, and I know you love Josh Allen just as much. This is the first Sunday game on CBS Paramount Plus, 1 o'clock kickoff. Denver plus 8.5, wherever you're betting, whether it's DraftKings or FanDuel. Over under split, but it's a point off. It's anywhere between 46.5, 47.5. Favorites Buffalo at home. Marcus, who you got and why?
I've got the Bills. If there is a tradition, there's the Arrowhead Invitational, a long running tradition. But close to it is another tradition, which is the Bills looking freaking awesome after the Wildcard Round, because they get to play the likes of Skylar Thompson. Was that Mason Rudolph?
I think it was Mason Rudolph.
Mason Rudolph. And now they might get to add Bo Nix to that list. And while Sean Payton has maximized Bo Nix and what he can do, I just feel like Josh Allen getting to run around, vulture touchdowns from the 2-yard line. Hey, if you really value that from your quarterback, that they just vulture touchdowns from the running back, and you think, oh, well, those 8 extra touchdowns are enough to win an MVP. Maybe.
What are you trying to say?
I think he's saying that Jalen Hurts ain't shit. That's what I heard him say. But that's just that's what I heard. But we'll talk about him later.
Okay. That's more so for Josh Allen this season. Josh Allen, who's having this amazing season, but I mean, if you take away the vulture touchdowns from the 2-yard line, this would be Patrick Mahomes' 4th best season that he ever had. So just to put that into context for you about maybe the season isn't all that great. But about this game, I think Peyton's a better coach. And if the game is close, I really like Denver's chances of getting the ball last and getting out of there with a win. But I think more likely than not, Buffalo puts it on the Broncos. It's just what they do. They always look awesome in the wild card round. So give me the scary Bills.
Are you taking the points?
Or
is this a line?
Nah. Give me the Bills minus 8.5. I'm gonna do it now.
So for me, I actually took the Broncos plus 8.5. I think the Bills are gonna. I think the Bills are gonna win. Denver's defense is legit. I think they're gonna give Buffalo some fits. I'm not saying every drive. Buffalo's gonna get theirs. It's just inevitable. But I think the game's gonna be a little bit closer than people think. Strictly for Denver's defense. But again, Buffalo, like you just said, I mean, that wild card weekend Bills team is always looking like the most dangerous team in the NFL. But I think it's going to be closer than people think. Again, I'm taking Bills outright, but I'm going to take the Broncos plus 8.5 on the betting side of things.
There we go. I think one thing that people, or maybe laymen, want to discredit, I don't know how many times the Bills face another cold weather team in the wild card round. Like the Broncos, they play at altitude. Like it's not that bad.
Yeah,
like
shouldn't be an issue for them. I agree.
Right. So like the cheat code they have with the weather and the winds, that's another day in Denver. Shout out the Wiki.
Dwicky, my man.
Love you, buddy.
Hey. Pulling for the Broncos. Let's go.
Broncos country. That's right.
Let's ride.
Let's ride. So AFC is set. We'll come back to them as we talk divisional round later. But let's go to the NFC side. And with that, we're starting with the Eagles at home, flapping them wings, taking on the Green Bay Packers. 4:30 kickoff only on Fox. Green Bay is plus 4.5 across the board, over under 45.5 points. Brett, what you got, baby?
Congratulations to my Philadelphia Eagles winning the NFC East this year. They blew past my expectations. On a previous show, I think I had them getting 11 or 12 wins. They ended up with a 14-3 record. They were great all year. There's one game this year where they got it put to them, and that was against Tampa, and that was without Devontae Smith, without A.J. Brown, and without Lane Johnson. The two other games they lost were that bullshit Atlanta drive on Monday night where they lost in the last second, and the Commanders drive where the Commanders turned the ball over 5 times, and we still lost the game in the last second. So never really got it taken to them this year. Felt like they were in control in most games. I hate feeling like saying, hey, my team is a really good team. Philadelphia's a really good team. They have the number 1 ranked defense in the league. Vic Fangio completely just turned them around. It's insane the job that he did. I couldn't be happier with the year Philadelphia's had. Now, with this game, it's going to be tough because I don't know. Is Jordan Love going to play? I don't know. He kind of said, we'll see. So I don't know if he's playing or not. If he's not playing, then Malik Willis coming into Philadelphia, playoff game. That place is going to be rocking. I know the Packers as well just lost Christian Watson. He blew his knee out. So that's a big downfield threat that's gone. I think is the line still Packers 4.5?
Yes.
I would take that. I would probably go Packers 4.5. Jalen hasn't played in a couple weeks. I don't know how much of a problem that's going to be because the Packers also are down Jair Alexander. He's done. And Philly just got Goddard back as well. So there's another weapon on the offense. Obviously, you got Mr. Barkley in the backfield. And they just had a week off, essentially. So where Green Bay, they just had a real tough game against Chicago that they ended up losing. I think they've lost their last 2 coming into the playoffs. Now you got to come to Philly. So again, I'm going to go Philly. If for the Packers to have a chance, they're going to have to stop the run. If they can stop the run, I will say that they do have a chance. If they cannot stop the run, then they don't have a chance on hell. So obviously, again, I'm going Eagles. The line with the betting stuff, it depends with Jordan Love if he's going to play or not. If he's playing, I do Packers plus 4.5. If he's not, then obviously that's going to change. That's actually one I have not put a bet in on yet, just depending on that.
Marcus, as I turn to you, both Malik Willis and Jordan Love limited in practice on Wednesday. But they've got other problems too. Christian Watson, DNP Wednesday.
He's done. Yeah, he's done.
He's done.
Romeo Dobbs, full practice, but he's on the injured list. But there's a lot of defensive players on their end that are listed as a little problematic. So getting ahead of the run is going to be trouble. Marcus, you got the Eagles, yes?
Yeah, I got the Eagles covering the 4.5 pretty easily. I mean, if it is closer than that, I'm going to be tight for you, Brett. Amazing receivers. Your defensive coordinator, I didn't have faith in. He turned it around. Saquon has shown a different type of leadership from Jalen Hurts. And that's not to say that Jalen Hurts is a bad leader. There's been rumblings.
It's a different type.
Ego, whatever. But exactly. It's a different type of leadership. If the game is tight, if anybody on the team is going to blow it and I don't trust, it is your head coach. For the Atlanta drive, for some of his play calling, for his game management, I do not trust him to not let the moment be bigger than him and be bigger than the team. Now, his name is attached to a lot of wins. Your team is real good. I think you guys are the best team in the NFC. No disrespect, Mr. Tim. But I think you guys are the best team. I really hope it's Eagles minus 4.5. I would hate to see a close game and hate to see a late swing to a Packers team, which kind of like the Texans are stumbling and having a tough time getting to the playoffs, and just they're ready to go to Cabo. Like it's time to take it home, boys.
Fair enough. I got the Eagles plus the points as well for that, just because I think you're gonna be motivated at home. Gonna put the number on them. But next matchup in the NFC. Everybody put that left hand up. The Commanders are back in the offs. Back in the offs, going against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on my mom's birthday, 8 p.m. kickoff.
Oh,
NBC
man.
and Peacock. Let's see if she's throwing me some otherworldly magics. But in either event, NBC and Peacock for the Commanders, Buccaneers. Washington right now only +3 across the board, over under 50.5. So it looks like Vegas and the line, the betting odds makers are expecting a shootout in Tampa. Marcus, we'll start with you.
Give me the Commanders. Money line. Straight up. Not just because of your mom's birthday, not just because your team is back in the offs. Man, y'all's quarterback y'all got a dude. Nothing against Baker, nothing against Tampa. They've been doing it for a while. But, man, something just kind of seems magical about your team. And I don't know if it's enough to get you to the Super Bowl, but I feel like it's enough to get you through Wildcard weekend. I see another line here that I like a lot more, and that is the over of 50.5. And I'm going to bite, and I will take the over. But as far as a pick, give me the Commanders.
All right. Brett?
So I got to put my left hand down in this one, unfortunately. I'm going to Bucks. Main reason why I think they're going to be able to run the ball all over Washington. Washington does not have a good run defense. Bucky Irving seems to have come alive for Tampa Bay. Commanders on the road, young team, road night playoff game, big stage, obviously. If there's a guy that could probably outlast that, I would say it seems like it's Jaden Daniels. But it's tough because I don't know what'll happen if Terry McLaurin gets locked down, which seems to happen in some games where
we beat the Eagles and he was locked down.
He had a touchdown catch in the game.
Okay, he got the ball real late.
What happened the first time that they played, Tim? Could you tell me that?
I just remember the last time.
Did he put up 0 for 0 in the first game? Maybe
that's fine.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
If you want to live in the past, that's fine, Tim. I know you haven't been
right now.
I know you haven't been to the playoffs in a while. You're excited. Oh, he got in, guys. Good for Timmy. I understand. You don't know how to win. I get it. It's okay. Welcome in. Welcome to the club. We're here. Marcus and I will teach you the way. Ball out, baby. Let's go, Tim. I feel good for you. I'm trying to be the nice guy here, and you want to take a pot shot. So it's all right, Tim. Hey, it's okay. Buccaneers by 80. I hope you guys get your faces stomped into the ground. I'm kidding. No, I do think I just think the run defense is going to be such a problem. And I don't know, man. I like Baker. I just like watching that dude play. He's tough. Like, he's gritty. I don't know, man. And Mike Evans, I'm never going to talk bad about that guy. Certified Hall of Famer. But yeah, I am going to go Buccaneers. Is it a 3 or 3.5 points right
Just
now?
3. Straight 3.
I think for a home playoff game, I'll go Buccaneers.
Okay. I was going to make some sort of joke about how maybe the Eagles have just remembered how to win because last year's collapse was absolutely abysmal. But we're not talking about the past anymore. The past is the past.
So the playoffs, though, right? Yeah, that's
but what did you do in the playoff? Right. What did you do?
Yeah, I mean, hey, we got to the dance. It's okay. That's okay. How many Super Bowls has Washington won in your lifetime, Tim?
Just as many as the Eagles have.
Okay, that's all right, Tim. How many times have you been in the playoffs, Tim? And made it matter,
I'm not talking about the past. I'm not here talking about the past.
Tim, it's okay. Yeah, we're not talking past. I'm just saying.
I'm not talking about the past.
Let's just bring it. We're bringing things up. You want to.
Hey, I'm going to use the Marcus logic here. I got more chips.
Wait, what did I do?
It's okay.
27, baby.
Leave me out of this. No. That's baseball. That's different.
It's different. That is different. I agree with that. That's different.
What, systemic success in baseball?
Yes, it's very different.
Way different.
Sure. There's like 10 times the number of games. Got it. So different. It's sports. I'm going to Commanders. I'm in for the ride, baby. Break my heart.
You have to. I'd be so mad at you if you did.
If we're here, we're taking the whole thing until we lose. And it's fine. If we get a first round exit, that is fine. Because to me, we don't even belong here. We superseded my expectations. 12-5 could have easily been 5-12, and I'd have been just as happy.
Yeah.
But we got a dog.
You had some miracle wins this year.
You can call them miracles. Some people call it a miracle. Some people call it destiny.
Hey, bro. Hey, I don't care if I win by 20 points or a point. Win's a win in the NFL.
Scoreboard. That's all that matters.
I agree.
I know for myself though, like as a Commanders fan, like I've been super humble about all the game. Like honestly, like none of the games that have aired, I've been like, yes, suck it. It's like, man, we should have lost that. Like the five turnover game against the Eagles, that should have been y'all.
The Hail Mary against Chicago
should have been them.
Yeah.
But instead, we'll have the rookie of the year.
Don't ever apologize for winning. That's the way I look at it.
We'll have the rookie of the year. I wouldn't doubt if Jaden Daniels gets at least one MVP vote this year.
He probably will. I can see that.
If the award is most valuable player, it is hard to say that nobody has been more valuable to their team than Jaden Daniels. If anybody else is quarterbacking, that team is trash.
Whoa.
I think Jaden Daniels is more valuable than Pat Mahomes. I think Joe Burrow is more valuable than Pat Mahomes. Those are the only two people I'm putting ahead of them. Ahead of Pat. That's just me. But we're not talking about MVP.
Marcus is about to have a meltdown.
We're talking about the wild card, and we're talking about the last game in the NFC for this. Closing it out on Monday night on the ABC family of channels, the Los Angeles Rams are hosting the craziest wild card team out there, the Minnesota Vikings. January 13th, ABC Family. You can catch the Manning cast on ESPN2. Depending on where it is, the line is between a half a point and it's a half a point Minnesota on DraftKings and 1.5 points for the Rams on FanDuel. But they've got the over under the same at 47.5. Brett, how's the NFC going to shake out?
So I'm actually straying from the points in this game because it's so close. I took the under. I think this is going to be a low scoring game. Minnesota, Sam Darnold, if you watch that game Sunday night against a super banged up Detroit team, came back down to earth. And the Rams are a much better defense than Detroit is. So I think Darnold's not going to have a great game. I think, clock striking midnight for the run that he had this year. I'm going to say the Rams are going to win. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game. It'll probably be within 6 points, I'd imagine. I just don't know if you could stop Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp and Kyron Williams. I mean, the Rams have studs, but obviously, Minnesota does as well. But, I trust Stafford more than I trust Sam Darnold in a playoff game. So we'll go. I'm going to go with the Rams, but I am taking the under on the points for my bet.
Marcus?
Well, I think getting to the Super Bowl and even winning the Super Bowl actually means something in this league. And the only other head coach and quarterback combo to do that is the Rams. Talking, of course, other than Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. After the Rams put up 40+ to beat the Bills, their last 3 games, they have equaled the 40+ points that they put up. So they're not firing on all cylinders on offense, but they know what they have, which is Kyron, Puka, and then Cooper Kupp for can you get 5 or 6 catches his way. And you got Robinson. You can get Robinson a deep ball. That's their formula. They're younger in some aspects, like the defensive line, but they're older in other aspects. Give me the Rams, though. Like, I know they don't have the greatest home field advantage, but I do feel like the clock has been striking midnight on Sam Darnold for a while, and Kevin O'Connell, I think, is a really good head coach. But just the way, Sam Darnold just had his worst game that is comparable to the ghost game from Monday Night Football. So give me the Rams. I'm with you, Brett. It's not going to be pretty.
No.
I also took the under. I also took the Rams money line for +100 right now. I just think they're a team that knows how to win. They know how to get to the Super Bowl. They have that experience. So give me the Rams.
And on top of this, I have a quick question for you guys. I hate Monday night playoff game. I hate it. I think it's a joke. I think now you're going to have whoever wins this game has a short week for a playoff game. Don't love it. How do you guys feel about it?
Completely unnecessary. Put this on Sunday, put it on Saturday, whatever. But I don't like the idea of having Super Wildcard Weekend extend into Monday. I think the Super is the amount of games, not how they are distributed across the schedule. So, I don't like the idea of having this tournament and you're supposed to have your best players in this tournament, and then you are actively putting them at a disadvantage by having them play on a Monday night. Just not good for the quality of the games.
I think the only way even then it doesn't even work out, because the only way for it to be fair is that the next round, everything's played Saturday, Sunday, right? or
next round's everything
just
Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, so not to be like big baby or whatever, but like it's a day, and a day could mean a lot. But in a league in which we've had teams like the Chiefs play 3 games in 10 days or whatever it was, like,
and win them all.
Which I hate. I hated that
Right.
too. That was not
Right.
fair to those teams at all.
No, I completely agree. It's one game's not going to make or break, but who's to say, right? So we shall see. So if you were me, or you were that, or us, you've got the Chargers minus 2.5. You've got the Ravens. I went money line. Some people went points. Broncos plus taking the points for them, but the Bills up, Eagles up. The one game we're split on is the Commanders and the Bucks, and the Rams over the Vikings. So with that, my parlay, plus 3,700 odds. Let's
go.
ride, baby. And I'm not done because Daddy's trying to make some money. So let us discuss. Let us discuss now the divisional round. So of course, seeding gets a little. It doesn't really reseed, but the lowest seed does take on the number 1. So let's go AFC style. Leading off, according to what we've got, the Los Angeles Chargers is going to the Arrowhead Invitational, taking on Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce, the ghost of Taylor Swift, in Arrowhead. I don't know if she's going to be in the building, so that's why I'm saying just an apparition.
She'll be there.
I'm sure she will.
Taylor loves the playoffs.
Yeah.
She loves the offs. We all love the offs. But Marcus, or no, I'm gonna let Marcus close out on the Chiefs. Brett, who you got first?
Kansas City Chiefs.
There you go. You don't even need lines.
No, I don't really. I'll go Chiefs. Chiefs started playing their best football in the last month of the year, which is absolutely terrifying for the rest of the league. I think Chargers will give them a respectable game, I think. But you don't waltz in an Arrowhead, man. It just doesn't happen. And I'll go Kansas City.
Yeah, give me Kansas City. I imagine this line's going to open up around 4.5, if I had to take a guess. Kansas City loves to play tight games, but they played tight games because they needed to play tight games, because when you're missing wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, wide receiver 4, running back 1, cornerback 2, you have to change how you play. And the Chiefs were able to withstand all those injuries, a lot more injuries than a lot of other teams had, and made more excuses. And the Chiefs did so to the tune of 15-2, and playing 22 non-starters in that second loss, with the 1 seed wrapped up on Christmas Day. Ho, ho, ho. Thank you, Steelers. So give me the Chiefs in the divisional round. It's been the best gimme since Mahomes has started. You are up exponentially if you just bet the Chiefs divisional round every year. Season kind of doesn't start till the AFC Championship game. So
the Chiefs right now, they are on that run of the Patriots where your season doesn't start till the divisional. It's just you have a 3-game season, really. It's just what it is right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just did what they had to do to get to where they are, and I can't fault them for that at all. Like the Chiefs,
a lot of people are. They're not including Pat in the MVP conversations, even though he is clearly the best quarterback in the league, coming off of back-to-back Super Bowl wins, back-to-back Super Bowl MVPs, to the tune of 15-2. But it must not be him. It must be somebody else. It's got to be somebody else. According to you, it's a guy who didn't even make the playoffs.
Well, the only reason why the Bengals were one game away from the playoffs is strictly because of Joe Burrow.
They also lost 4 games, I believe, in September because of Joe Burrow.
That's fine.
So I got a cape for the Bengals here a little bit.
Their defense is dog shit.
Their defense
Marcus.
is atrocious. They had.
I understand that.
I think they had Chiefs, 4 games this year where the Bengals scored 30 plus points and they lost.
Right.
Tell me about it.
You can't
Tell me
put
about
that
it. The 2019 Kansas City Chiefs that went to the AFC Championship game.
You can't put that on Burrow.
But the precedent has been set that you can get farther with a worse defense. I literally saw the Chiefs do it in 2019. They did it. So,
but that's the
I don't want to hear
exception
excuses
and
for
not
Joe
the
Burrow,
rule.
who says, "Oh, I'm here. The window's open." The window's been closed the last 2 years, bud.
I get that.
Not impressed.
I am looking strictly at value to your team across the board. I don't believe
he missed the playoffs with Joe Burrow.
But I don't believe, my whole point about MVP is that I don't believe Pat Mahomes is number one, head and shoulders, the reason the Chiefs are 15-2.
What?
He might be the most valuable player on the Chiefs, but he's not the most valuable player in the league compared to other teams. MVP is not a team award. And MVP shouldn't necessarily be a stats award either, which is the problem.
Oh, I agree. If MVP was an actual fair award that was handed out, it's Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
I agree with that too.
This year, it's Saquon Barkley. But since it is a quarterback-only award, I don't know how you can start opening up to, okay, well, Josh Allen is fun and awesome to watch. Okay, but maybe it's Lamar. And then you totally start throwing winning precedent, anything else like that, out the window. That just, once you make it a quarterback-only award, how do you exclude Pat Mahomes? Who
he's going to get
but win and take your team to the Super Bowl, at the very least the AFC Championship game every year.
Again, we're debating a point that I don't want to debate. We're literally talking about the playoffs.
It's just crazy that Mahomes makes people do these mental gymnastics where it's the only excuse not to give him the MVP is that he is the MVP.
Did you not hear the point that I said he was third in my list? And
that's not first.
And I didn't talk about Josh Allen, and I didn't talk about Lamar Jackson at all?
Yeah, you talked about 2 other dudes who had fine seasons. The rookie did well for himself.
But they are the most valuable. I firmly believe that if Pat Mahomes did not play all season, you may lose 4 or 5 more games, and you're still in the playoffs.
So Andy Reid's coach of the year?
I'm cool with Andy Reid being coach of the year. But that's not what we're arguing. We're arguing about Pat Mahomes being the most valuable player in the entire NFL.
So you really don't think Pat Mahomes is the most valuable player in the NFL when he's done nothing but take his team to the AFC Championship game every single year and go to the Super Bowl in 4 of those years?
Marcus,
and
this
win
this is not the MVP of the Mahomes era discussion. You need to stop talking about all of the Super Bowls that he's taking you to.
This season they went to 15-2 and they were the number 1 seed in the AFC.
If that's the case, then I would consider Jared Goff to be in there. Jared Goff's in the consideration.
He is. I think he was 5th in the odds not too long ago.
Absolutely disgusting that I wouldn't even consider Jared Goff to be anywhere near close to being the most valuable piece of that entire team. Much less the league. I think that the amount of here's a stat line you like: wins above replacement. I don't think that the Chiefs fall off a cliff as hard without Pat Mahomes. But if Joe Burrow's not quarterbacking for the Bengals this year, that team's getting the number 1 pick.
I disagree because last year they didn't have Joe Burrow. They went 9-7. This year they had Joe Burrow and they went 9-7. So we literally just saw proof of that last year.
But this year's defense is significantly worse than last year's defense for the Bengals.
But they had all the same pieces. They're the
Doesn't
same
matter.
defensive coordinator. They had the same pieces.
And people's
They had
stats
the
go
NFL
down every
sacks
year,
leader.
Marcus. The
They had the
Madden
NFL
ratings go
sacks leader
down.
on defense.
People regress. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what
But
to
the
tell
defense wasn't that bad because we've seen worse defenses get
you.
carried to Super
You
Bowls.
let me do exactly what you wanted me to do, and you let me get this shit off the rails. Fuck you. Fuck this. We're keeping going. AFC second game at Buffalo.
That's a win.
Bills. No, it's not a win. It's because I have to go to work tomorrow, and I don't want to be here till 2:00 in the morning arguing this point when you're going to be stuck in your ways like a stubborn old man. Bills, Ravens. Marcus, who you got?
I love you guys so much.
This is the shit you don't get on Final Wrestling Plays because we're so in alignment. But Marcus is an irritating son of a bitch who fucking puts his feet 9 feet in the sand and he's like, I don't move, bitch. Except he doesn't say bitch.
And they're rooted in just infallible truth.
You're rooted
Give
in
me-
recency bias. What's the game? We're picking the Bills and the Ravens. The MVP of
The
the league is in
recency
this
of
game.
the last 8 years of the league?
Marcus, Bills, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Pick a game. Pick a player. Pick a team. Who's winning?
I hope they both lose.
Can't happen.
Give me the Ravens in the rematch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Cool. You've talked enough. Brett, we haven't heard from you. Welcome to the show. Appreciate you. Go ahead. What do you got for this matchup?
Boy, did I have takes on that whole MVP conversation, but that'll be another time because we all have work early and we will be here for hours. I'm gonna go Buffalo. I do think that they beat Baltimore. The game would be in Buffalo. A hell of a matchup. I mean, my goodness, whoever wins this, I mean, you earned it, obviously. But I just think Buffalo's got a little more offensive juice. Well, I should say a little more offensive juice, more at a frequent pace than Baltimore does. You've seen some Baltimore games where it just looks like they're like, what happened? You know, Buffalo's a little bit more consistent in that, where they could put up points on you. So for that reason, I'll go Buffalo.
Split down the middle. I think that the conversation that people aren't having that they should be having with this matchup isn't necessarily Josh Allen versus Lamar Jackson. It's Derrick Henry and James Cook. Like people are discrediting, like they're giving a lot of credence to Josh Allen being the MVP because he's doing it by himself, but yet James Cook is a top 5 running back in the league.
Yeah, I mean, I think James Cook had 15 touchdowns this year, so
Right.
You know, I can give credence to that.
Right. That's especially in the playoffs, running games matter.
Oh, 100%.
So is King Henry going to actually like take a hold of the crown for the first time in his life and play a meaningful football game in January and win? Like we obviously have him going through the wild card, but can he do it at Buffalo? So we're split on that. Just for the narrative's sake, I'm putting Buffalo down as the.
It'll make a better conversation piece for the next
I think it'll
round.
make a better conversation piece too. Moving over to the NFC, we were split between the Commanders and the Bucks. So the winner of winners of Commanders Bucks. No, because the Bucks are the 3rd seed. So if the Commanders win, they have the Detroit Lions to open up. If not, then this will be the Rams.
So if the scenario is Detroit versus Washington or Detroit versus the Rams, I'm still taking Detroit. Detroit's getting David Montgomery back, and that is a big deal, I think.
Yeah, Sonic and Knuckles, baby.
Sonic and Knuckles are back. Obviously you go through Detroit at this point. I'll stick with Detroit. I just think, I know their defense is super banged up and everything, but man, that offensive firepower is there. You can't stop them. I'll go with Detroit. If it's either team, I'm going Detroit.
Fair enough.
Yeah, same. Whoever plays Detroit, I'm taking Detroit.
Fair enough. Other side of the ball. It is going to be, at least for right now, it is Eagles hosting either the Rams or the Vikings.
So honestly, in my scenario, I think it'd be Bucks, Eagles, but I'm taking Eagles against any of those teams. The one team I don't want to play is Tampa. Tampa plays Philly hard every time. I have flashbacks of Tampa Bay coming up to Philly and winning the NFC Championship game when I was a wee little kid. And that was a heartbreaker. Fuck you, Rondé Barber. But I do think if it's any of those teams, I think Philly kind of dog walks any of them. Except Tampa. Tampa's the only one where I feel they'd be tough. They played the Rams this year and they beat the shit out of them. Vikings cannot win a meaningful game in Philadelphia. We've seen that before. 38-10 NFC Championship game. I would take Philly against any of those teams.
Same. Give me Philly.
Fair enough.
Any team doesn't matter.
Yeah, so far it is chalk in the conference championships. Number 1 seed Kansas City, number 2 seed Buffalo, number 1 seed Detroit, number 2 seed the Eagles. And this is where we start to get into divisional or conference champion odds. Based on what we've got here, Kansas City plus 145 odds of being the kings of the AFC. Buffalo third on the list in DraftKings with a plus 310, but second at FanDuel with a plus 250. FanDuel has Kansas City at plus 155, not 145. NFC side, both DraftKings and FanDuel have Detroit at number 1, 115, 130, depending. And they both have the Eagles as second best odds, plus 330 for DraftKings, plus 320 for FanDuel. So, boys, what is the Super Bowl going to look like? We'll start with the AFC side, Kansas City at Buffalo, based on our prognostications. Marcus, go ahead. I'll let you go.
Kansas City versus anybody. I have no reason to believe that the outcome would be any different unless Patrick Mahomes has an out-of-body experience like he did against the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't believe he's going to play the worst half of football that he's ever played again in the AFC Championship game. Chiefs back in the Super Bowl where they belong. Never a doubt. Going for the three-peat. Yeah, that's what I got. Do you want my NFC tied or not yet?
Not yet. We're going to go one at a time.
Okay. Then the Chiefs.
When we did our NFL preview show, I picked 2 teams to go to the Super Bowl. One of these teams is definitely still going. Actually, both of my picks I believe are going. Give me Kansas City. Arrowhead Invitational, baby. Don't stop it. Don't quit. You got to fight for your right to party. Cincinnati Mayor, know your role, shut your mouth, you jabroni. All the hits. We all know the classics, Kansas City, again, to me, I feel they started playing their best football of the year the last month of the year, which is dangerous. That is scary.
Almost by design, right? It seems like we do that almost every year. You think it's by design?
Yeah. I mean, listen, there were games where, hey, you won on a blocked field goal. I mean, those games are going to happen, no doubt. Yeah, Isaiah Likely's toe was just a little bit too big. His height is a little bit too big.
Tucker would have missed the extra point anyways.
Yeah, that dude's washed. But and I don't want to get away from it. Give me Kansas City.
There we go. And then heading over to the NFC, Brett, we'll start with you. Detroit, Philly. Are you going to break your own heart? Or are you going to play? Are you going to pick with your heart?
I'm going to break my own heart. I would take Detroit to win against Philly at this point. Do I think Philly has the best shot at punching them in the mouth? Yes, I do at this point. It just seems very inevitable for Detroit. They've been on the roll all year. Should have been in the Super Bowl last year if it wasn't for some bad play calling. I super pumped about the year Philly's had. Detroit just seems like such a juggernaut right now. I picked this on our preview show. I picked Kansas City and Detroit in the Super Bowl. So I won't stray from it. I'll stay Kansas City, Detroit, Super Bowl.
There we go.
All right. I believe my prediction, I think I had Rams Chiefs.
I think so, yeah.
The Rams just don't look as I don't want to say explosive, but they just look a little lethargic every game. And it's different from a Kansas City who can deliberately play a slow game to force you to play disciplined football because they know you will make a mistake, which is all they need to put the game away. Give me the Eagles. Give me the Eagles in the Super Bowl, taking on the Chiefs. And I know it's cliche, but it gets harder every year. And I think this Eagles team is better than the Eagles team from 2 years ago that went to the Super Bowl.
I think you're right.
Maybe the defense isn't as ferocious as it was. That was a historic defense you guys had, but Saquon, the way he can run, even though Kansas City is excellent at bottling up runners, they are excellent at bottling up your number one receiver. If we have Watson back and he can hang with Smith, okay. Then I literally feel like it comes down to who has the ball last game.
Much like the Super Bowl you guys had against each other.
Yeah. So, in the NFC Championship, though, I think Detroit, there's just something. There's something like a consistency of winning. And I know Detroit has had an amazing climb up going from 3 to 5 to 9 to 12 to 15 wins. That is quite the climb that they've made. I know Dan Campbell has been thumping his chest talking about our guys have played big games for the last 3 years. Yeah, but without expectations. This is the first year with real expectations. I find that they go for it on fourth down more than any other team in the league. That does play to their advantage sometimes, like when you play Minnesota. And Minnesota kind of beat themselves in that game, which led to the game getting out of hand because you feel the need to keep up with them and go for it on fourth down and be uncharacteristic in your play calling. I feel like that ain't going to work against the Eagles. I just don't feel like they have the juice to go up against Philly, who is largely healthy. I'm not better coached, but just like, dude, give me Saquon, give me Jalen, give me AJ Brown. I think the Eagles are going to be a real problem in the NFC, and looking forward to a potential Super Bowl rematch with the Chiefs and the Eagles.
I'm the tiebreaker on this one, and I'm hard pressed to bet against Dan Campbell's Lions. To me, they've been not only super entertaining to watch, but also even with the scrutiny that they've been under this season, they have shined above it, right? They played probably the most meaningful game of their careers last week. Week 18, where win is the division, lose is the wild card. And so I'm definitely going to take, it's very close for me, but I will take the Lions at least. And it's crazy because that is the consensus Super Bowl heads up matchup, across the betting lines. Right now you can pick, at least on, DraftKings, name the finalists. KC versus Detroit is plus 425. KC versus Philly is plus 950. So almost double the odds picking the Eagles, which again, that plays right into the Eagles' hands. But in either event, one team can win the Super Bowl. Can the Chiefs do something that hasn't been done since the Cowboys? Right? They won 3 in a row.
We don't.
Nobody in the Super Bowl era.
Nobody's won 3.
Nobody's won 3 okay. In a row. I thought for some reason they won 3.
Buffalo made it to 4 Super Bowls in a row and lost them all.
Yeah, well, they're not making it this year either. So, so can Kansas City three-peat, or will the Eagles or the Lions usurp and take the crown from the Chiefs? Marcus, I'll let you have the last word because obviously your heart's really in it. But Brett, you've got the Lions here versus Kansas City. How's the Super Bowl look out for you?
So again, this is what I picked at the beginning of the year when we did our preview show. I picked the Lions Chiefs Super Bowl. I picked Detroit beating Kansas City in the Super Bowl. For that fact, I'm not going to stray from it. Obviously, it can go very easily to Kansas City. Like if somebody says, "Oh, Kansas City beat Detroit in the Super Bowl," I go, "Yeah, I'm not surprised." But just for the sheer fact that I don't know, I think it'd be kind of cool if I picked it. I'm gonna go Detroit. And I'll tell you what, man, I think a big factor is if Aiden Hutchinson's back for the Super Bowl. That dude's a problem. He was on quite the pace this year before he had his injury. Am I saying that he's going to be the end all be all in that game? No, but if he's there, obviously he's a factor. Again, if KC wins it, I'm not shocked, but I'm just going to stick with Detroit.
Marcus, right now, Detroit is the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl on both DraftKings and FanDuel. Plus 295 on DraftKings, plus 320 on FanDuel. Kansas City, anywhere between 350 and 370, number 2 on the Super Bowl odds. While the season for you all does start in the divisional round, there is a heavy weight of history that sits in front of the Chiefs. And while games are played one game at a time, the shadow of the undone or the never done looms. But why do you have faith in the Chiefs kingdom?
It's the best coach. It's the best quarterback. There has not been a test that they have failed so far. That they're better than they were last year. 15-2 this season. Great on offense. Number 1 defense to close out the season. Maybe the best kicker left. Don't like his politics. Don't like his personal beliefs. When it comes to kicking a football, probably the best kicker left. I have no reason to doubt the Chiefs. You could say never a doubt. Every year, whether it's in the division, it's in the conference, it's in the league, it's always somebody new that everybody falls in love with. They play a little bit faster. They run a little bit harder. This year, the big thing is point differential, putting up a lot of points. That gets a lot of people going. I know the Chiefs just keep winning. They just keep winning, nice and steady. Just keep collecting wins, keep collecting AFC championship rings, keep collecting Super Bowl trophies. I got no reason to believe anything different. They put their name on it last year at the parade, immediately talking about three-peat. We've never seen a team who's had the opportunity to do a three-peat look as good as the Chiefs have. And there is no real recent precedent. I think you got to go back to one of those 49ers teams from the late 80s to find like the closest comparison. So if they're going to need more luck, it's the playoffs. You're only going to play good teams, especially with that first round bye. You're only playing good teams. When you play good teams in a one-game sample, anything can happen. But I got faith that the Chiefs are going to be the Chiefs. They can beat you anyway. You want to get into a shootout with Patrick Mahomes? Good luck. You want to keep the game tight and leave it up to who has the ball last and leave it up to field goal kickers? Good luck. You want to leave it up to who has the better defense? With Chris Jones and Nick Bolton and Trent McDuffie? Good luck. They can beat you a multitude of ways, and being gimmicky, being feel good, playing like it's Madden, putting up 40 points, that's cute, but I think people forget the Lions have looked very immortal against good teams this season. Every team's banged up. Every team's got stuff going on. This is just what the Chiefs do year in and year out. Give me the Chiefs three-peat, unprecedented. MV Pat.
Fair enough. Either way, regardless of how it shakes out, based on the prognostications of you guys, we're in for some heavy firepower as it comes down to it in New Orleans for the Super Bowl. Whether it's the Chiefs or Buffalo, whether it's Detroit or Philly, from however the conference finals shake out, it's definitely going to be an exciting postseason for sure. I may take a little futures odds. The Commanders are plus 4,500 to win the whole thing, so I might put a little $5 down on that and see if we roll the dice and maybe pay off my car.
You might not have this opportunity again.
Yeah, or I'll be here next year. Who knows? There's a possibility. There's a chance. At some point the magic's gonna fall out of that hat, and Andy Reid's gonna end up showing that Waffle House menu to the wrong person, and everything's gonna be good. But in either event, just to go through the odds for all the playoff teams to win the championship, we'll just go based off DraftKings. Detroit, Kansas City, Baltimore, third best odds. Buffalo, the fourth best odds. Philly, the fifth. Minnesota, the sixth at 1,600. The Packers at 2,200. The Bucks at 2,500. The Chargers at 28. The Rams in Washington at plus 4,500. The Broncos at 5K. In Houston and Pittsburgh, Vansky plus 9,000 odds for your Steelers, baby. You can turn it around. $5 can go a long way, baby. Depends. You like how you feeling about Russ? Dangerous? That's a dangerous bet to play, but you could turn it around.
More like disaster us, am I right?
Calamitous.
Let's go.
But either way, this has been fun. Debating, arguments, the whole nine. Wouldn't want to do this with any other two boys.
Just guys being dudes,
Dudes being bros.
Talking ball.
Yeah, just talking ball with my breasts.
That's right. As the last to go on, Pat Mahomes for MVP, Marcus?
Should be yes, but no, it's going to be Josh Allen.
Brett, you had MVP thoughts. I do want to lend you a little bit of the floor.
I'm not going to get into the where Mahomes ranks thing because we're not going to do that. I think
if you were to rank them, are you more closely aligned with me or with Marcus?
I'm more closely aligned with you, Tim.
Thank you. That's all I needed to hear, and we'll talk. We'll take this offline. But Brett, go ahead.
But obviously, listen. No disrespect to Pat. I never want to disrespect Pat.
No
Mahomes.
disrespect to Pat.
Greatest quarterback probably of all time.
Absolutely.
If I'm picking, I think Lamar deserves it. But the league very badly wants Josh Allen to have it. So they're going to give it to Josh Allen. That's what I think.
I think we're there too. I think this is Josh Allen's year. And gosh golly, it's going to get him all the way to the conference championship game. Golly.
Even though there's a running back in Philadelphia who I feel deserves it. But
yes.
That's just my opinion.
I agree. No,
I agree.
If you're looking at it subjective, or if you're looking at it objectively, the Eagles didn't have him last year, collapsed, have him this year, and thrived.
Yeah. He goes on to rush for over 2,000 yards. I mean,
a casual 2,000.
Yeah.
But he's washed. He's a shell of his former self. He's not.
Oh, well, listen, we don't throw that washed word around. That gets a little, I'm just touchy.
Hey, I'm just saying what the people are saying. The streets is talking. Just watch Hard Knocks. New York Giants.
Oh boy. Oh my God.
Isn't
it so perfect? Isn't it just perfect the way that worked out?
That they played themselves out of the number one pick. It was awesome.
Just like that. Those words are gonna haunt them forever.
Yeah, I can't wait for them to draft. I can't wait for them to draft another generational running back and make the same mistake.
Oh man,
not this year.
I was gonna say, are we getting into draft talk? Because I've been looking already. Okay, all right. Because your boys, I'm in.
We will be here for a postseason wrap up. We'll discuss the awards. We'll discuss draft projections. It'll be a lighter show, I'm sure. But boys, my prognostication was right on the nose. We are literally a shadow away from 2 hours for this. Very digestible content.
Snackable even.
Snackable. Num 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 num. But thank you for checking this out, listening to it however you did. We appreciate it. Listen to Marcus and I talk about not football every Monday on the Soon to Be Named Network, Final Wrestling Place, and you can catch Brett alongside his amigo, his compatriot, his sweet ebony diamond dude, DJ over at We Need Wrestling every Friday morning on the Soon to Be Named Network across all platforms for social media. Brett, thank you for the time. Marcus, thank you for the time. Love you boys both extremely, very much beyond words. Thank you for this. The Vanity Project lives on. So, but
I love this shit.
Hell yeah. But guys, thank you for listening. Let us know what you think of everything that's gone on in the Soon to Be Named Network Discord, the hashtag Sports Talk channel. I'm sure we'll talk a lot of Yoffs and check out the opportunities channel too. I'm sure there may be some sprinklings or dabblings in there, but you got all the information you needed here. But for Marcus and Brett, I'm Tim. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you after the Super Bowl for a little postseason roundup. Bye, boys.